ones, empaths. The purpose of the narcissistic discard is to push you away so they rope you in, so they pull you in. That's ultimately why the narcissist does the discard. Now, they may not be trying to rope you back in for a relationship with you, but in some cases they are. They're trying to make you produce the potent supply which you once had. But in other aspects, it can also be that they're converting your energy supply from someone who's a primary source to someone who's on the outside trying to get back in. You see, a narcissist needs all sorts of types of energy supply, right? They need all sorts of supply. They don't just get supply from their romantic partner. They get supply from their family, from their flying monkeys, and in this case, from their exes, the ones that are still orbiting around them, the ones that are still trying to make a relationship work. The best thing you can do if a narcissist discards you is not chase after them. You see, I made the dreadful mistake before I woke up to narcissistic abuse. The discard wasn't clear. They were leaving signs, and this is what they often do as well. They leave signs like the doors are still open, and they might hold on to your belongings, or they might not be decisive in the discard. They might be leading you on, putting you on the hook, so to speak, on the shelf. And it leaves you thinking that there's still a relationship there. But the moment that you can turn cold as ice and you can recognize, hold on a minute, this narcissist is trying to cut me off, and you don't play into the palm of their hands. I made the mistake. I'm trying to warn you. Do not play into the palm of their hands and start chasing after them, because I, like a fool, even though I shouldn't self-deprecate, chased after the narcissist relentlessly before I knew it was narcissistic abuse. Mainly because they held on to my belongings. I mentioned this previous times before. My mom died when I was 7, and I had an ashtray of hers. I don't really have much belongings of my mom's. Not really any at all, to be honest. But I've got this like crystal ashtray, and they kept hold of it. They wouldn't return it. So I didn't think that they were deadly serious. But what they were trying to do is lead me on, right? They were probably entertaining other suppliers by that point, and they were just leading me on. You need to recognize the finality. Is that the right word? Finality? Yeah, I think so. Finality in the discard, right? You need to take it seriously and understand someone's cutting you off. And I'm not telling you this to get back with them, but you know, if they discard you and you act nonchalant, you act like you don't care, you act like you're not fazed, even if you've made the mistake of chasing very early on, if you fall back and you act like you don't care, you act like you're not interested, this will work in your favor. Basically, it will enable you to kind of get the closure that you need, because you'll see the narcissist start to hoover more quickly. And I know hoovers are a validation for us, as someone mentioned in the comments before, and they don't need that validation. But sometimes when you're romantically involved with someone, it can be very confusing once they cut you off. And when you see a narcissist hoover you, it can actually be part of the closure that you do need to move on, right? Because you realize these lot are full of crap. They're full of rubbish. They're not serious. And what I'm trying to say to you is the main reason that they did do this discard in the first place was because your supply was running low. Remember, no one can satisfy a narcissist truly. Honestly speaking, no one can fully satisfy them. And we may have been with them for a number of years. And by that point, you know, our supply withered. It decreased. It naturally did. It's not your fault. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. The supply withered away. We become less patient to their drama. to their BS. And they wanted to inject, like a fuel injection, like a spike of supply from you. And this is the conversion that I was talking about, you know? And this is why if you make the mistake of chasing after them, they will keep you as an orbiter. They will keep you as someone on the outside. They won't let you in, but they like having you around, giving them attention, giving them the validation. You see, this is what they like to do. They like to convert supplies. You've got to realize that if you go quiet and you just say, okay, fair enough, because it's not like the narcissist discards and says, hi, excuse me, I don't think we're working out right, and I think we should go our separate ways. They don't actually do it like that. It's through a smear campaign, it's through drama, it's through them playing victim, it's through them filing fake allegations on you, maybe getting police involved. You know, the way they do the discard is so brutal. You really need to keep your composure and keep level-headed when you're going through this, because it can be so chaotic. But if you've watched this video and you recognize that you're dealing with someone that is trying to initiate supply source from you, more supply from you, that's what they're trying to initiate from you. This is the purpose of the discard. They're not doing the discard because they're fed up with you. They're not doing the discard because they don't like you no more. They're doing the discard because they feel like you let them down. The supply that you once gave them in the early days, they miss that. They want that back. But they're happy enough to push you away, entertain someone else, and have you on the back burner, have you demoted, so to speak, to a position where you're not in a relationship with them, but you're constantly pestering them to work it out, speak to them. They deny you closure. I made a video on this the other day, why the narcissist denies you, why the narcissist, what did I call it? Why there is no closure after a narcissist. That's what I called the video, if you want to check that out. You know, this discard, this brutal discard, the way they do it is purposely to deny you closure. They don't want to have a civilized conversation. If you have had a civilized conversation with a narcissist and they've said, I want to go east, you go west, it's quite rare. So put that in the comment section if you have. But it's highly likely that you've been through drama like I have and chaos like I have. But this is the purpose. They want to initiate this increase of fuel, increase of supply from you. And it works. It does work. You know, when someone cuts you off and when someone makes a smear campaign about you, or someone makes some sort of chaos in your life, you find yourself clutching to them. You find yourself chasing after them. Just unintentionally, you just get put in this position where you find yourself chasing, you know. They could have been chasing you the whole relationship. You could have tried to walk out on them hundreds of times. And they played the victim, or they done suicide attempts, or they done things to lure you back in. But each and every time we done this, because this is what I used to do, there was many times I tried to leave the narcissist and they would always manipulate me to get me back through my own fault. I admit it's my fault. I was weak. I should have been stronger. Not self-deprecating now, but honestly, I should have, you know, actually, I'm glad I saw the full unmasking. But every time that you tried to walk away from the narcissist, you inflicted injuries. This is another reason why the narcissist does the discard. Other than trying to, well, it is to increase your supply as well, but it's also revenge from the narcissistic injuries that you've inflicted. There are a lot of narcissistic injuries that you have inflicted to the narcissist, unknowing to yourself. You don't know about what you've actually done, but some of the most weirdest and bizarre reasons that this narcissist has had an injury inflicted on them, you'd be in disbelief if you actually found out the true reasons why they've received this injury. But they don't speak their mind, they don't speak their truth, and they don't actually release these reasons. They hold it very tight-knit, hidden, right? They don't actually express why they're feeling hurt. This is why the relationship doesn't work. They don't express their true feelings. This is why you don't need to believe the reason for the discard. You don't need to believe what they're telling you the reason for the discard is. You don't need to act. You need to ignore all of that. You need to ignore all of that. All of the BS that they're telling you the reason that they're breaking up with you, or the reason this discard's happening, or how they're smearing your name. You don't need to believe none of it. Just fall back. Fall back. The quicker you fall back is the quicker they realize they made a dreadful mistake. And I made a video the other day why the narcissist regrets discarding you. You might want to check that out. But they do fall into regret. If you're a potent source of supply, you know your worth, you know your value, or you know some of it. You're going to learn to know your value more as you go on the healing journey. They do regret discarding you, and you will receive hoovers and attempts to try and rekindle with you. You will receive this from the narcissist. So just be aware that they're trying to basically get a spike of supply from you, an increase from supply from you. And it can also be revenge from the narcissistic injuries. So anyway, thank you for watching today. Please press the like and the subscribe button. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can find a link in the description box. And if you'd like a one-to-one session with myself, you can also find a link in the description box. Currently, I've got a secondary channel, a spiritual channel. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.